And now we are going to the fifth element of faith. This would be, for those of you studying along with me, will be the meaning of faith in Nembutsu on page 43. In page 43, you will find that the fifth element of faith is to accept the primal vow of Amida Buddha without any doubt and be sure of your birth in the Pure Land. So basically, this is the vow in which we accept the primal vow, yes, and we are sure of our birth in the Pure Land, in the Pure Land. So we never deny that we are going to the Pure Land because it is Amida Buddha himself who takes us there. Okay. So Shinran Shonin said, Shinjin, faith is hearing the vow of the Tathagata of Amida Buddha and being free of doubt. And trusting is to be free of doubt, believing deeply and without any double-mindedness that the Tathagata's primal vow is true and real. Hearing the inconceivable, selected primal vow and the holy name of supreme wisdom without a single doubt is called true and real Shinjin. It is also called the diamond-like mind. And trusting is to be free of doubt, believing deeply and without any double-mindedness that the Tathagata's primal vow is true and real. The great sage Shakyamuni teaches that Amida's land is easy to reach and calls the sentient beings who doubt the Pure Land path a person lacking eyes or lacking ears. Each of you should realize that you are certain to attain birth in the Pure Land. Okay? Concerning and trusting yourself, one becomes sure of attainment of birth in the Pure Land, and this mind being deep trust is like diamond. Okay? Renyo Shonin also said, however well you may study the scriptures, it is useless if you are not firmly settled in the faith of other power. If your faith in Amida, with the belief that your birth in the Pure Land is settled, continues without confusion until death, you will certainly attain birth. Okay? So basically, it says that when you hear the primal vow, you accept it without doubting it. Okay? You accept it because you know that Amida Buddha will take you to the Pure Land, not through your own merits, but through the merits of Amida Buddha. Okay? And this assurance comes from Amida Buddha himself. Okay? So faith is not the creation of our mind, but is something that comes from Amida Buddha himself. Okay? So this is why Shinjin is like diamond. Diamond is a symbol for being indestructible. Yes? So it is indestructible because it comes from Amida Buddha's power. And it is this power that keeps us on the track of believing in Amida Buddha until the end of our lives. Okay? It is not because we have like big faith. Like, for example, we cannot say that Shinran has big faith and Honen has big faith, but me, Kosho, or Yosho, or Seijun have, or Joshin have small faith. Okay? All of us have actually the same faith in Amida Buddha because it comes from Amida Buddha himself. Okay? So this acceptance is only to say, yes, Amida Buddha, I will go to the Pure Land and I believe that you will take me there after I die, and there I will become a Buddha. Is to accept this. This acceptance cannot be great or small. You only accept it or you deny it. Yes, you only accept it or you deny. So there is no middle ground here. Okay. So Honen Shonin also said, the removal of doubt is called faith. Whatever you may see, whatever you may hear, if you believe that birth in the Pure Land is a certainty, you will never think that birth in the Pure Land is uncertain. This is the true meaning of faith. Yes. Now we're talking about Jodo Shu, and Jodo Shinshu actually, according to Shinran, he thought that his master Honen was actually teaching Jodo Shinshu. Okay, so Master Shinran never thought that he would open like a new school of Buddhism. For him, what he was speaking about was actually the core or the heart teaching of Honen Shonin. Okay, and actually we have lots of passages that we have in Amidaji website, also in Spanish, in which Yosho Sensei has explained many of the passages of Honen Shonin's teachings. Yes, and explain it through the lens of Jodo Shinshu, because according to Master Shinran, then again I insist that according to Master Shinran, Honen Shonin's belief in the primal vow according to faith, and there are many passages that can prove this. That actually Honen's true teaching is actually to be born in accordance with faith, not in accordance with the number of Nembutsu, as many of the followers of future eras portrayed Honen to be. Yes, actually.
Yes, for example, yes, when Shinran, Shinran considers that he actually teaches the true Jodo teaching of Honen. So the true Jodo Shu of Honen means actually Jodo Shinshu. So Jodo Shinshu means actually the true Jodo Shu teaching of Honen. So Shinran used these words not in order to create a new school, but to show that he is teaching the true Jodo Shu teaching of Honen. And later, the disciples of Shinran, after Shinran went or returned to the Pure Land, later disciples took these words, Jodo Shinshu, the true Jodo Shu teaching, to be the title for a new school. You know, yes.
Yes, and actually this came from an experience and a beautiful experience that that Shinran had with Honen. And actually Shinran was very young when he met Honen, you know, and he was like the new guy in school, you know, in the school. And many of the disciples were talking about oh, Master Honen is so wise. Master Honen has read the entire Mahayana canon 5 times, which is like quite of a feat itself. And then, but Shinran said to his fellow disciples, he said, okay, yes, I admit that Master Honen is way wiser than all of us, especially me. However, his Shinjin and my Shinjin is the same. And then all of the disciples were like crazy. Oh, how can you say that? You are like the new guy. You are arrogant. How can you say that your faith is equal to Master Honen? But actually, Master Honen went into the room, according to the record, and he said, okay, what are you guys talking about? And he said, oh, you know, this Shinran guy is talking that he has the same Shinjin as you guys. Go and correct him. And actually, Honen said that Shinran was actually right, that actually the Shinjin that he had was actually the same Shinjin he has. And actually, he said something very powerful. He said, those people who have a different kind of faith will not go to the same Pure Land that I will go to. Yeah. In this sense, then Honen is actually confirming that the understanding of Shinran is correct, and that is actually the heart of the teaching of Honen. Is not about saying the Nembutsu like a machine, something like that, but actually when Honen talks about the Nembutsu, he talks about the Nembutsu saying with the heart of faith. This is very important for us to understand. Yes, I'm talking about this because actually accepting the primal vow as it is, which is the 5th element of faith, is actually the heart of being born in the Pure Land. The true cause of our birth in the Pure Land is not the effort we put in the Nembutsu, but it's actually our entrusting heart, saying the Nembutsu as an expression of gratitude, as an expression of faith, as an expression of saying, I love you, Amida Buddha. Thank you for having done what you have done. Yes? And this is also expressed in many passages of the sutras and the teachings of Shinran and Honen, in which people who are on the verge of death, yes, they don't have time to practice and they still go to the Pure Land, even at their own moment. That means there is a very clear passages in the sutras and the teachings of Honen and Shinran, many other Mahayana masters and Pure Land masters, that clearly lead you to have firm faith in the fact that it is not because of our practice that we go to the Pure Land. It's because of faith in Amida Buddha. This is very important. Yes. I will now quote actually Honen Shonin. Yes. There is no need to reflect on virtue or vice, says Honen, or to discuss the gravity of your negative karma. Establish an unshakable faith that if you simply mouth Namo Amida Butsu with the aspiration for birth in the Pure Land, you will most certainly attain birth in the Pure Land. The karma of this birth will be determined by your degree of faith. Once you understand this, birth in the Pure Land will be attained easily. The attainment of birth in the Pure Land will be uncertain only if you doubt this birth. The attainment of birth in the Pure Land will be certain if you believe in this birth. Yes. After all, the profound faith is the firm belief without a shadow of a doubt that the primal vow never abandons any person, regardless of the gravity of their karma, and that anyone will, with certainty, attain birth in the Pure Land with just a single utterance of the name of Amida Buddha. So it is clear, crystal clear. Yes. Here, Honen Shonin himself is saying that actually Shinran's teaching, understanding of Shinjin is true, because this is what he himself teaches. Yes, that the profound faith is the firm belief that without a shadow of a doubt that the primal vow never abandons any person. And with this kind of heart and mentality, you say the name of Amida Buddha, this faith, yes, is what propels you to the Pure Land, with this entrusting heart. And actually the Nembutsu is only an expression of this faith. Yes, this is why there have been many cases where people say the Nembutsu all the time, like a random mantra. They say millions of times, that doesn't guarantee that they will go to the Pure Land. But only one utterance of the Amida Buddha's name said in faith will get you to the Pure Land. Yes, because being born in the Pure Land is all about faith. It doesn't have to do anything about practice. The Nembutsu that Honen taught is the Nembutsu of entrusting yourself to Amida Buddha. Okay, this is very important. This is also a teaching by Shinran Shonin in Hymns of the Dharma Ages. He says, people who say the name of Amida Buddha in self-power all fail to entrust themselves to the Tathagata's primal vow. Yes, why is this so? Because they are obsessed with numbers. They are obsessed with the states of mind. So they are actually entrusting themselves, yes, to their own practice of the Nembutsu. Yes, they are focusing, oh, I have to say the Nembutsu these millions of times a day. I have to say the Nembutsu in this state of mind. I have to be diligent in the Nembutsu. So they are talking about me, but they are not talking about Amida Buddha. They are not talking about really opening their hearts to Amida Buddha and recognizing that it is not because of your effort that you go to Amida Buddha's Pure Land, but because of Amida's power. Yes? Then he says, faith is the heart and mind without doubt. To be free of self-power, having entrusting oneself to the other power of Amida Buddha, of the primal vow, this is faith alone. This is also says Shinran. So faith alone is the true cause of our birth in the Pure Land. And when we accept the primal vow, we accept that it is because of our acceptance, of the acceptance of this invitation of Amida Buddha that we go to the Pure Land. It's because of Amida Buddha that we go to Amida's Pure Land. Yes? Shinran Shonin admonishes us against doubting Amida's salvation. He says, there is no cause for endless turning in transmigration, in samsara, in other words, greater than the hindrance of doubt. So in other words, it is because of doubt that beings have been trapped in samsara for so long. Just imagine how many times the Buddhas have tried to help us in the beginningless eons of suffering in samsara, whereas we still keep having doubts about the Buddhas. So we kept transmigrating in samsara. Yes. Then Shinran says, know that because of doubt, one remains in the house of birth and death. When one doubts the inconceivable karmic power of the great vow of Amida Buddha, one remains in the 6 curses, or in the 6 realms of samsara, the 4 manners of arising, the 25 forms of existence, and the 12 kinds of arising. In other words, all the kinds of ways in which you can be born in samsara. We are to realize that up to now, we have been wandering for eons in such a realm of illusion. Yes. So we have been in samsara for such a long time because we have failed to hear about the primal vow and truly entrusting ourselves to it. Okay. So people who actually hear the primal vow or hear the message of Amida Buddha and they still cling to self-power, they're actually practicing according to the 19th vow or the 20th vow. Yes. The 19th vow is the vow of mixed practices. And the 20th vow is the Jiriki Nembutsu, or the path of saying the Nembutsu with the mentality of self-power. Yes. In the case of Jodo Shinshu, we consider these 2 teachings to be only provisional, not false, because they are destined for some practitioners that cannot yet entrust themselves to Amida Buddha. However, they are still provisional teachings for those who cannot yet entrust themselves to Amida Buddha. Once we have this mentality and we abandon our self-power, then we are ready to accept that it is because of Amida Buddha that we go to the Pure Land, and therefore this 5th element of faith, which is to truly accept that our birth in the Pure Land is settled, that we do not doubt it. Yes, it is because of Amida Buddha that we go to the Pure Land. Then there is no excuse. You cannot say, no, I won't be born in the Pure Land. You say, why? Because of me, because this evil karma, because of that. Then you are not pointing to Amida Buddha. Yes, but a person who truly has faith in Amida Buddha, he says, okay, I'm a sinner. I don't have the capacity to get enlightened. I'm filled with all kinds of blind passions. However, I will be born in the Pure Land because of Amida Buddha, because of this relationship of entrusting that I have with Amida Buddha. Okay, this is the most important thing in Jodo Shinshu.